My husband just dropped a bomb on me. He wants a divorce, but I did try to keep our house clean and make sure that we had a good meal on the table every night. He's been wanting more cuddling and to be close, but I've just been too drained for that. I could see there's some kind of a love language incompatibility here. So it sounds to me like you're an acts of service kind of person. He seems to be wanting more cuddling and time being close. It sounds to me like he's a physical touch kind of person, which leads me to believe that you need different things to be happy and to feel loved. But there's no problem because I have a solution. Dear Patty Pat, I'm at a total loss here, and I really need your help. Please. My husband just dropped a bomb on me. He wants a divorce. I honestly didn't see this coming, and I don't know what to do. We've been married for 2 years, and yeah, we've both been super busy with our multiple jobs. I mean, I'm so wiped out all the time, and so is he. But I did try to keep our house clean and make sure that we had a good meal on the table every night. He's been wanting more cuddling and to be close, but I've just been too drained for that. I guess my pulling away has really gotten to him. He's tried talking to me about it before, but nothing's changed on my end because I didn't know how. And now he says he's out of hope. Now that we're here, I'm desperate to fix things. I never told him, but some stuff happened to me when I was younger that makes it really hard for me to be physically close with anyone, even him. I'm scared and I don't know how to get past this, but I'm ready to try anything at this point. Lately, I've been thinking about our early days, the way we used to laugh and share everything with each other. It's like we were in our little bubble. And I really miss that, us against the world. It breaks my heart knowing that somewhere along the way, we lost that connection. I wonder if he misses it too, if there's a part of him that wants to get back to that place. The truth is, I'm afraid of being alone, but I'm even more afraid of losing him without having fought for us. He's a quality man. I know love isn't just about the good times, it's about pushing through the tough ones too. I want to start opening up to him, to show him the parts of me that I've kept hidden, and to share the load I've been carrying alone. But I'm terrified it might be too late. Patty, what can I do to save our marriage? I'm willing to do the work. I just need some direction, please. Thank you. Hello. I'm going to call you Monica. Thank you so much for trusting me with this very difficult, what did you call it? Bomb that was dropped on you. When you marital difficulties with your husband. But worry not. I've identified 3 things that I think can actually help you come out of this to find a way forward. The first thing, I could see there's some kind of a love language incompatibility here. Because from what you're saying, it sounds like even when you're exhausted and you're working all those jobs, but you still find a way to keep a house clean and cook for your man. So it sounds to me like you're an acts of service kind of person. You want to take care of your loved ones. And from what you're saying about him, how he seems to be wanting more cuddling and time being close, it sounds to me like he's a physical touch kind of person, which leads me to believe that you need different things to be happy and to feel loved. But there's no issue, there's no problem because I have a solution. There's this book called The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. That book was a game changer. I really wish I would have read it decades ago. It would have changed my entire life, but you know what? It came right in time. So Dr. Gary Chapman he's an author, is a speaker, and a counselor. And he was like meeting a lot of couples, like hundreds and hundreds of couples, to give them marital advice. And he realized that there were recurring themes that kept coming up, and he came up with 5 love languages that he called them. Okay, so there's physical touch, acts of service. I already mentioned them to you. Then there's words of affirmation, quality time, and receiving gifts. So those are 5 things he identified. Yeah, so let me just give you an idea of what does this mean to you, what I just mentioned to you? What does that have to do with your life? Before I get into that, I just want to share 2 basic foundational principles with you. So we're speaking the same language here. The first concept is language barriers. let's just say that you speak English, okay, and I speak French. I speak French really fluently. So let's just say I start speaking to you very slowly and clearly in French. You won't understand a word I'm saying because you don't speak French. You don't speak a word of French. So the same thing with the love languages. If you're speaking to him in the acts of service language, but his love language is physical touch, it doesn't work. It clashes there because he just doesn't speak your language. He doesn't want acts of service. He wants physical touch, and he's not getting it, right? So that's the first thing. So an effort has to be made to break those barriers and learn to speak fluently the language of the other person. For instance, my boyfriend, we don't have the same primary love language. Okay? His is physical touch, like very, very high, and mine is acts of service, very, very high. So very quickly when we first met, I made him take the quiz. I'm not gonna bother speaking the wrong language to somebody if I know I can take care of him properly, right? So very quickly I made him take the quiz, and I told him, hey, here are my results, here are your results. So we knew from the beginning that this is what we needed. I don't even think it was really necessary because of the fact that my secondary love language is physical touch. So it's very, very easy for me to make him feel loved that way. And for him, acts of service was fourth on his list, but somehow, I don't know, he speaks my language fluently. He's just so helpful. I think maybe it's just his nature. He's just helpful. He wants to take care of me. And so he just speaks it effortlessly somehow. What I'm trying to get at is you don't need to speak the same love language as your husband as long as you're prepared to make the efforts to speak it. Okay, so it sounds like he wanted to cuddle, get closer. So for instance, I'll give you some quick tips. If you're watching a movie at night, if you have time to watch movies, sitting down together, if you're, going close to him, touching him, holding his hand, caressing him on the head or whatever it is, that way at least he's going to feel loved. You understand? He's going to feel like you're speaking his language. And you didn't mention if he helps out or not, but it seems like you're very tired at the end of the day. You would feel more loved if he showed you maybe more acts of service. So maybe he could help you out. Maybe you'll be less tired afterwards and you'll be more inclined to take care of him afterwards, physically at least, with physical touch. So that's something to explore. But then you can, if you're not sure what his love language is, I don't know what comes second for him, but if you can perhaps make him take the quiz, if you'd be willing to, and you can take the quiz, and then that way make a whole game out of it, right? So that way you can at least take care of each other that way and break those language barriers. Okay, the second concept is the love tank. So imagine a tank. Okay, I actually got a tank right here. So the love tank is, I'll just take your husband, okay? This is your husband's love tank. And his primary love language is physical touch, but you have not been doing it, right? For a few different reasons. So his love tank is empty. Okay, so he's feeling misunderstood, very likely, unloved, unwanted, rejected, who knows? But his love tank is not full. If you started, for instance, speaking more of his physical touch primary language, then his love tank would fill up, and then he would be more content in the relationship, right? But it seems from what you're saying that he lost hope. So his love tank just is empty and he has no hope of you being able to fill it up, right? So this is where it comes in really handy to know that those concepts so that you can just pour into him the way he wants to be loved, right? So that's what I would strongly recommend, that you try that if it's possible. Yeah, I would just like to invite you to take those quizzes, and whatever his primary love languages are, just make sure to learn how to speak them. I mean, somebody has to break the ice. I know you're tired and you're exhausted, but if you seem to want to fight for your husband, so please somebody has to start, right? And that's exactly what Dr. Gary Chapman said. You don't need to have the same love language. As long as you're prepared to do the work, it will be just fine. Okay? Okay, so that's for the number one. Number two, oh my goodness. I would strongly recommend, I don't know if it's been done or not, but because you mentioned here that you never even told your husband about the, it seems, abuse that you suffered when you were younger, I'm worried that you did not even tell anybody else. Okay, so if you have not done it, you are not alone. So please make sure to share this load with someone else. Let's say you don't want to talk about that right now with your husband, but please seek therapy. There are professionals out there who can help you navigate through this. You're not the only person, I can assure you. In fact, I interviewed two wonderful ladies, Rena Romano and Jennifer Leone. Their interviews can be found right here in the links, or you can also look in the description below. They share their stories of how they overcame abuse. It's beautiful, beautiful testimonies. Please do watch them if you get a chance, but I really urge you to get some help, because otherwise you'll keep carrying this with you forever, really. And time does not heal those wounds. You know, you really have to do some work to get some healing. So please, please, please get some help for that. Then another form of therapy, you're telling me here in the letter that your husband, you know, wants to get a divorce, but have you talked about couple therapy? I mean, there are professionals out there who are meant to help couples reconcile, and, you know, it's a form of mediation, let's say. But before you even talk about divorce, it's huge. I mean, you took an engagement to spend the rest of your life together. So perhaps this is just a rough patch and therapy can actually help you out. So I think it's something that's really worth exploring. And I don't know what your situation is. You said you had a few jobs, but if you, often the employers cover that with the insurance, yeah, you can have therapy, couple therapy is included, family therapy. So please explore that. But even if it's not, I think it would be at least worth paying for one consultation to see if you can find some help. And not all therapies are created equal. So please go by reference, you know, a therapist that helped out another couple that you know, or also just research on the internet. I mean, there's so many references you can find, but please get some help. And also, I don't know about your faith or anything, but if you're part of a church community, you know, they have counselors, they have teams, staff that are there to help you and to support you. Like I know my church, they have help for everything you can think of, but definitely for therapy. So please seek help. Do not suffer alone. Okay. And number 3, I would encourage you to rekindle the old flame, try to reconcile. I mean, you really sound from your letter, I get the sense that you really want to, you know, make it work with your husband. And I'm telling you, like, before I met my boyfriend, I was single for many, many, many years, and it's rough out there. And I have a lot of my girlfriends who are single, and you're saying he's a quality man? Like, please try everything you can do before you lose him, right? And I'm not blaming you or saying anything. I'm just saying we got to this point where he lost hope, right? So, and you're admitting in your letter that you don't feel like you've tried enough because you know, he told you he wanted more physical touch and you did not do it, right? So I would invite you to really do it all. You didn't mention if you have children or not. If you have children, get a babysitter. You know, I don't know your situation, but get somebody, friend, to just babysit them one night. You mentioned about how wonderful things were at the beginning. Can you do some of the things you did at the beginning? You understand? Just forgetting about the stress. I mean, life is stressful, and we're living in very dark times. And on top of that, whatever made you happy as a couple, try to see if you can revive it, you know, and just by doing more of the things that you both love. Yeah, like that's what I would really, really encourage you to do, to just try to make something work. So at least, I mean, if you do everything you can, it takes 2 people to make a relationship work. Do everything that you can to save this union. It's really, really worth it to at least try, and then the rest, leave it in the hands of God, if anything. But you know, at least you would have known that you did your best, because I don't think it's not over till it's over, Monica. And I think that if you implement those 3 changes, I'm going to recap. So number 1, please work on your love language incompatibility. Break those love language barriers. Speak more of his love language to fill up his tank. Okay, make sure that you keep that tank full as you can. Number 2, get therapy, please, for your unresolved childhood trauma, and also for couple therapy, if possible. And 3, try to rekindle the old flame. Try to, yes, rekindle it. Do everything that you can to light it up, keep it lit up every day, not just on birthdays and holidays or whatever. Like every day, find ways to pour into each other so that you can have a chance at a beautiful future together. Okay. So I really hope this was helpful to you. Please, you know what? I would really love to send you a copy of this love languages. I'm going to contact you, since I have your email. I'm going to send you a copy of this. You really need to read it. Read it. Do the quiz, the 5 love language quiz with your husband, so that, you know, it removes all the guesswork out of it. Yeah, just read this book. Read it. Have him read it. Okay, and take the quiz, as I mentioned to you. Very, very important. I have hope. I'm going to be praying for you every day, and please reach out to me. Let me know how you're doing in the future, if it turned out well, if you managed to make peace and forget all about this divorce talk. Okay. And dear friend at home, I hope you found this helpful. If ever you were in that situation, can you share some tips on what works for you? I would love to hear them. I'm sure Monica would love to hear them as well. And also, if you know someone who is in that situation, and if you think any of those tips can help them out, please share the love, share the video if you think that can help out. All right. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, with Monica and I, and cannot wait to see you in the next video. All right. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.